Cup of Joe with Grampa Dez. Hey, Brady, how you doing?
Hey,
Hey, it's a pleasure to have you on, buddy. And before we get started, I have got to say, I owe you a dinner.
no, you owe me a
Um,
lunch.
is it a lunch? Is that what we agreed on?
Yeah,
Okay, so we will do that. So my idea is that when we are actually in the same place at the same time, that is when I will pay it off. I'm not trying to push you off, but if we get to the 3 year mark and we still haven't officially met face to face, I will just send you like a DoorDash or something like that. But I'd like to do it in person, and I'd like to pay. Like the Seinfeld episode where a lunch isn't a lunch unless you're actually sitting down and having lunch with the person.
right. Like a salad isn't lunch. Well, I mean,
Exactly.
I side with Jerry on that. Like, okay, so
I agree.
if you're gonna bother to take someone out for lunch, like, that's the lunch. So like the salad was the lunch. Banya was being a dick.
Yeah, but I mean, the lunch is actually spending time with the person, right?
True.
But
Yeah, part
yeah,
of it. Yeah, it's like it's a social engagement of actually going out and getting food.
it doesn't matter what you actually eat.
Correct.
Yeah, so that's where, but Jerry is right, or I mean, Banyan, that's his name, right? I'm bad with
Yeah.
names. Is right in the sense that it's not really lunch, but lunch, as in the actual meal of lunchtime, is the act of sitting down and having lunch. Even if you had nothing, it's still lunch. So we will do that. I mean, hopefully it'll be in
Yeah,
person.
because like so like
Are you going to Double or Nothing?
when is that in May?
Yeah, in Vegas.
Ooh, probably not.
Oh,
I've been going to way too many shows because like
hmm.
like you hooked me up with your ticket
Yeah,
for All
Chicago.
Out. Thank you for that, by the way.
Hey, thank you.
Uh yeah. And then on a whim I went to Full Gear with Jarrett, fight game group member who never posed because he's smart, unlike us. He doesn't use Facebook. And
I'm
had
getting
a
better.
ball of a time with him. I haven't been to Minneapolis since I was a kid because I used to go to Chiefs training camp up in River Falls, and that's up north in Wisconsin, and that's like a 40-minute drive away from Minneapolis. So every year, my mom and dad and I would go to the Mall of America, and we'd go. And my dad and I, when my mom did like school shopping, would go to Camp Snoopy, which was like this big
Yeah,
indoor amusement park.
yeah,
Yeah,
Mall of
it
America.
ruled.
Yeah.
Yeah. And now it's like Camp Nickelodeon, but a lot of the same rides that I rode when I was a kid are still there. Is just like the facade is different. And so I went and walked around there with Jarrett and took pictures of all the old rides I used to go on. It was just the best, and it was a hell of a show, an incredible show.
So we go to Minneapolis twice a year minimum because my daughter gets seen at the Shriners.
Uh huh.
And then so for me, it's about a 5 hour drive from my house to Minneapolis. So in normal circumstances, I'm there. But because of COVID and because you still, as of this moment, have to get a PCR test when you come back across the border, and because my daughter's not vaccinated, so there's always a danger of me catching it and bringing it back. We're just being
Right.
overly cautious. But she's getting her vaccine next week, and so I'm probably about 2 months away from being able to travel again. So I'm going to Double or Nothing. I'm going to WrestleMania. I know you're not going to be anywhere near there unless you decide
I might.
unless you want to go see the other shows, right? So
Well, so like the indies are stacked again,
yeah,
and
and you're not that far. You're not that far from there, right?
no, I went to the G1 show in Dallas with Jarrett in 2019, and I
Okay.
met a couple other people there. That's where I met Dave and Garrett for the first time.
So what do you like?
Yeah,
About a 6 hour drive?
something like that. Like I
Yeah.
like the
Or you
way.
fly though?
Well, no, I'll drive anywhere I can. But like the way the interstate system works in in Louisiana to get up north is a pain in the ass. Ruston, I used to go to Louisiana Tech, and that's in Ruston. It's like due north from me,
Yeah.
pretty much. A little bit more to the west, but basically due north, and like it's like 2.5 hours, I think. So as the crow flies, to get there via the interstate, I have to go all the way through Mississippi, and then I have to connect through have to loop around like Vicksburg, and I'm screwing up names of cities, whatever. But it's like a 4 hour trip, so I have to like take that interstate and go through Shreveport and then go to Dallas.
Okay.
So I have to go like around a good ways. So it's like a 6.5 hour drive. All things considered, that's not that bad. I know a hostel. That's where I stayed, and I
Okay.
know a hostel I stayed in East in Deep Ellum for the New Japan show, so I can stay there cheap.
Oh yeah.
But
I drove to Mania when in 2016, and so we drove from Winnipeg. It was about an 18-hour
you told me
drive.
the story, yeah.
Yeah, and then I just got a hotel on the way down there. We got a hotel. It was probably a
Nice.
half hour from downtown. So because
Mhm.
I had a car, we could do it. And then I had friends staying in the hotel that didn't have cars, so I was able to use their parking spots. So I would just go every day and park my car in the hotel parking spot, and then we just walked everywhere. And it was great.
Oh, it's a
Um,
beautiful town.
yeah, yeah, and I'd never been. And I've gone back since. My wife and I took our daughter down there. We went to Fort Worth and Dallas because they had some sort of a rodeo or something. It just happened to be the week that we were there. Ryan Frederick told me about it, and we enjoyed it. So she's going to go back to Dallas with me next year, and then hopefully Emily's going to meet Becky. I've talked to Becky a little bit back and forth, and
Mhm.
she's looking forward to it. I'm hoping we're gonna get comped for tickets, but I'll pay for them if I have to. I sent her a message just recently saying, "Oh yeah, Emily's getting vaccinated now, so we're gonna go to Mania for sure." I said, "Now I just got to save up for tickets." So that was kind of like the opening. Hopefully, she's not watching.
God damn it, Paul.
Yeah,
Hope you don't have any friends that are like in the office that are deep friends with you
Uh,
that watch all that consume all your content.
put it this way. Put it this way. I mean, I'm gonna have Brian Alvarez on the show at some point and Dave Meltzer.
Yeah.
So there's a possibility somebody goes back and watches this and it gets back. It's fine, whatever. It's honest. I'm being honest, right?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, if I don't have to pay, I mean, obviously, I'd rather not pay. I
Could you
mean, we'll
get
just
it?
we'll spend merch, like
Would
we'll just.
would they credential you as media?
Oh
No,
yeah,
right?
yeah. I mean, I could
They
get
would?
credentialed as media, but
Oh,
I
okay.
mean, yeah, like that's probably what's going to happen for the SmackDown show in Winnipeg. We have a hookup guy in WWE that we can email. So the only thing is, if I want to bring Emily, then I probably wouldn't be sitting
Right.
with the media, but they'll still give me tickets. So then it'll
Mhm.
just be a matter of like the last time we were in the third deck because that's where the accessible seating is. So my
Oh,
hope is that she has a stroller that she uses sometimes instead of the wheelchair, and it folds. So if I go in with that, we can fold up the stroller and we can sit in regular seats.
right.
If we get ringside, that's even better.
Right.
Yeah, and if it's those chairs that you can move, we can just park the stroller right in there. Like that's what I'm
Right.
thinking is going to happen at Mania. If I don't get comped, I'll buy those ringside seats where you get to keep the chair, and then we'll just take the chair out, and she can park her stroller
Yeah,
there. Yeah,
that
and then
makes
we
sense.
take the chairs home. I actually right behind me here. I don't know if you can see it.
Oh, I
Is
see it. Yeah.
Yeah, the Mania chair.
There were people outside of Full Gear trying to sell their chairs for like 150, and I'm like, a buck 50? I'll do that. I'm not paying 150 for a fucking chair though.
I got
But
this
like,
one for free because we were
yeah, comes with
sitting.
the seat, right?
Well, no, 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 no. So I paid a lot of money for my seats, and we were right beside the stage, but we were literally maybe 2 rows behind where these chairs were. But a
Uh-huh.
lot of people just left the chairs
Right.
because, like if you flew in, you're not taking the chair back on the
Right.
plane. Yeah. So my son was with me. He just grabbed one of the chairs. I mean, we probably should have grabbed two, but I didn't want to be greedy. So we just grabbed one. And but I mean we had great seats. Like we were right beside the stage. So he even got on camera a few times. And like I was like almost nose to nose with like the Undertaker, the Rock, all that stuff
The
when they were
Rock and his
coming down.
flamethrower. Yeah.
Oh, we could feel the heat. Like that's how close we were. That was like honestly, I mean, it wasn't the best show ever. I mean, far
No,
from it.
that show sucked.
But
Yeah.
for someone who's at Mania for their first time, it was pretty cool.
It's also like it's so much about like the spectacle and the live
Yes.
experience and everything that like if you're going to Mania, you know what you're signing up for, and that's what
Yeah.
you're getting. And if you're there front row, and if you like can keep up the momentum for the 7 hours that show ran, like
Yeah.
you're gonna enjoy yourself. I mean, me like my first Mania was Mania 31, and that seems to be like consensus one of the best Manias of all time.
Was that
And
Santa
that's
Clara?
yes,
Okay.
and that was a great show.
Yeah.
And they haven't like sniffed that since. And I don't
No,
know. You can't
I don't think
project
they
them.
can.
You can't project them to ever do that again, just because. Well, they're going 2 nights now, and that's here to stay, because they're gonna juice up the gates as much as they
But
can.
they could. I mean, you could do one show that was almost as good as that if they really load up one night, but they won't. They'll split everything
You
between the
can, and
two.
you also don't know what the cards are going to be. Like
Yeah.
I thought the last Mania of night one, the night one of last year's Mania, was like a down ballot show of the year contender. Now I also missed that ghastly like women's gauntlet match or the tag
Yeah.
match and everything,
Oh
but like
gosh.
that was a loaded show. That was a
Yeah.
loaded show. Second match, not so much. The second night, not so much.
No.
But we're also bearing the lead. Why do you owe me lunch?
Oh yeah. So I was gonna bring that up and I forgot. So I owe you lunch because I mean, okay, so I make a lot of crazy bets. And I'm a bad gambler and I lose a lot of if you've
Yeah,
been
no
following
shit.
if you've been following the big payback on the website, I think I'm down $2,600 this year in my MMA bets. Um, thank goodness I'm not using real money. But so I make a lot of crazy bets. I was never more confident in a bet than this one we made. I was fully convinced before the guy even signed with WWE that Killer Cross was perfect for that company. His girlfriend, wife, whatever she is, was perfect for that company. They were going to push him to the moon. The first night in NXT, they show up. They got the awesome video. She just looks like $1,000,000. They treat him like a god. Like, oh yeah, this guy's he might headline this year, as I'm thinking. And so the bet was 3 years. Killer Cross, who became Karrion Cross, is going to headline WrestleMania. Less than a year and a half into his run, he's fired. So I will probably lose that bet.
So for one, like you said, you obviously don't know shit about gambling, because you completely over leveraged yourself. Like I should have taken your house. Like
I wouldn't have done it.
even
Yeah.
if this guy was like a no shit bona fide like top prospect or whatever, like if this was the next, Diesel or Sid
Yeah.
or whoever, like you still take that bet because the odds are insane,
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
like
In 3
so
years.
so you don't watch the indies.
I don't. I keep track of the
All
indies,
right,
but I don't watch them.
so you never actually saw like Killer Cross like actually like work.
I saw him in Impact a lot.
Okay, so the thing about him is that he has never really like drawn a dime or connected with any crowd whatsoever.
Okay. He
And
did with
so
Impact, but I
I
mean,
mean,
maybe that was
like,
sweetening.
I
Like, I don't
mean,
know.
it's like, so the things against him is that, one, he's not as tall as like Vince would like. He's like
That's
six.
true.
He's like 6'4", and that's like the baseline for him.
He might be
He's not.
6'2".
He's right. Like he's not as shredded as or as big as Vince would like. Like he doesn't have the wide chest. He don't have the large peaks, and and they rushed him back from a shoulder injury. So like he was kind of pudgy. Like he had
Yeah.
lost his abs. And third is that like all these projects that Vince has had over the years, like Chris Masters, Nathan Jones, Ezekiel Jackson, Ahmed Johnson, the guys that like you would think he would want to push to the moon, Bobby Lashley the first time around. It's like you still got to get over.
Yeah.
And Killer Cross has like never gotten over like anyone. And so like I knew this wasn't gonna work.
I thought he would. I thought he would to that crowd, though. I thought with that music, with the woman, with being pushed like Goldberg is what I assumed they would do. That he would.
Well, you also put way too much faith in Vince, and
yes,
that's the other thing, is that you're putting your trust inside a senile old man who's been out of touch for
I mean, look
21
at Ryback.
years.
Look at Ryback. Like Killer
Well,
Cross.
They pushed Ryback too, and they and you could say that they. I mean, I wasn't watching during this period, but from my understanding is that like so someone got hurt and they put him in that spot, right?
Yeah.
And like it popped the pay-per-view rating, and they probably shouldn't have beaten him there. But
no, they should have given him the title, and they should have gone to Mania with it.
Right, and like the thing is too, it's like, and you kind of see this like with TK sometimes. Like the thing that like TK is really good at is like these guys will come in and he books them very simply. They win all their matches. He books them up to like a title program, and then they either win or lose. And then if they lose, they go down the card for a while. And like I love that. It's that like that New Japan style of booking, which I'm sure like I know
Yeah.
Gato didn't invent this, but like that's my go-to. If you're gonna lose on the way down and you'll hibernate, you'll start to build back up, and then when you're ready, you'll be fresh. And I don't know why they don't do that with people like the Ryback or Braun Strowman. It's
Because
everyone has to be on TV every single week,
yeah.
and no one can just be on TV just to wrestle a match. You're either in a program or you're not, or you're working main event, and like that sucks. That's a bad way to book, and
Yeah.
you might end up getting some things like where that I mean kind of suck. Like Hikaru Shida disappeared, and it's been like 4 months and
Yeah.
because she's not doing anything right now, and
Yeah.
they
And
could
Lance
probably throw
Archer,
her a
like,
bone. Well,
where's
Lance Archer's hurt.
oh, is
Lance
he?
Archer.
Okay.
Well,
Oh, I
you
didn't
remember
even know that.
remember the neck bump?
Oh, okay. Okay. I
Yeah.
see. I
So
don't remember, but yeah. Okay. So
that's the
that's
other
a,
thing.
I mean,
Like
I
that's
guess
the
that's a
stuff that
good
we
thing. Guys get injured and then, like you barely even notice. And then after a while, it's like, hey, where's so and so? And then they show up and they're
right.
like brand new again.
And well, it's that and like Chris. I love Chris DePetrillo.
Yeah. I've had him
I'm
on the show.
probably butchering his name. The action
That's
figure
pretty
guy. I
close.
love him to death. His son is
DiPetrillo.
adorable.
Yeah.
And he is a proponent of like putting guys on TV every week. And I hate that because that's Raw does. And not only do I think Dynamite needs to differentiate itself from Raw in every way possible, I also think it's like an inefficient way to utilize your talent roster. And so I love it when these guys will pop up on TV. They don't wrestle every week. They wrestle fairly sparingly. You might go a week without an MJF segment now,
Yeah.
or you might go a week without a Punk segment, and usually there is. But like I remember a couple of weeks back, Punk wasn't on the show at all, and I was like, found it kind of odd, but it was kind of refreshing because it's like, oh, okay, sometimes you're going to get him, sometimes you're not.
Yeah. I
If
think they're
if you
gonna
really want
put
to
him
appease
on.
the live crowd, you can put them on after the camera's in.
Yeah, and
And they did
Danielson,
that.
I think Danielson just wants to work every week, so that's why he's
Oh,
on
of
every week. But
course.
eventually, he won't be. I mean,
Oh,
he
right.
went, yeah, because in WWE, he was like the one guy that didn't wrestle every week, which was funny. So we're getting close to time. Did you watch Dynamite tonight?
Yeah, I loved it.
Okay, you loved it. You loved the show.
It was a really good show. I mean, the feed I was watching because I mean, DirecTV screwed me. I don't have cable
Okay.
anymore, so I streamed.
Okay.
I make that back by paying for pay-per-views and going to live events and
Fair
paying for
enough.
merch, Tony.
Yeah.
So I'm not evil.
So here's
but
the
it was a
thing.
good show.
Here's the thing with tonight. Okay, so I was prepared to say that it was one of their worst shows that they've had, except for the fact that there were specifically 3 segments that were so good. I couldn't possibly say that about the show. Especially the opening segment was an all-time great TV moment.
It was the Raw SmackDown promo segment that they always lead off
Yeah.
with, except it actually made you more interested in seeing
Yes.
that.
The 5 minutes at the end of the show was maybe the best 5 minutes of wrestling I've seen like all year. And then the Daniel Bryan or the Bryan Danielson Hangman segment leading into the match and the match itself. But almost everything else in the show was not good. Like, I mean, I wasn't great. I'd say some of it was bad, some of it was okay. The Thunder Rosa match was pretty good actually. But I just
Oh
like
yeah, that thing was brutal.
A lot of those backstage segments were kind of bad.
You don't like guys getting interrupted.
Not so much.
Yeah, they kind of overdid it, but like
yeah. But again, like I mean, it was so. But again, you can't say a show was bad when they had some segments that were so good. Like that MJF thing was just so awesome. And the funny thing is I know there's more to come, and it's going to be even better.
Right. Like I love the dynamics of MJF being the guy to try and unlock embittered asshole Punk.
Yeah.
And
it's gonna work.
Punk has this curse where it's like he is so like I want to see him happy and see him do well and see him be like the top baby face,
I know where
but
you're going.
he is just such a better heel.
Yeah.
There's always something off with him when he is like, if you go back and watch like his face title run when he's like wrestling Alberto Del Rio and Jericho and stuff, like something's just off. Yeah. And for as much as I love that guy and I want to see him happy, there's just something about him where like it doesn't feel right. And when he flips that switch and he becomes bitter asshole old man, scorched earth Punk, it feels right. All is right with the world,
So
And yeah,
what I
it's a
loved about
curse.
it was MJF. It was all the stuff he said about Punk, how you don't have it anymore and you're having such a hard time beating guys that are so far beneath you and
And then he
stuff.
goes like 13 minutes with QT
Yes, it
Marshall.
was so
Yeah.
perfect. It was so perfect. And it just played right into everything. And then Punk playing to the crowd the way he was, like, and doing the hand signal before the thing, which was such a WWE move. And
Oh, they wrestled a WWE match like completely.
totally. I said on the Dynamite show, it was like a mid-90s like Hulk Hogan match. Like, where like the heel gets all the heat on him, then he does some body slams and his trademark move, and then he gets the win. Like
Yeah.
he probably took like 15% of the match,
Yeah,
maybe
he
a little bit
got
more than that.
yeah, include the heat. It's probably like 45,
Yeah.
55. Yeah,
Okay.
50-50.
But it
So
was
like
50-50.
the
But
thing
Danielson was
about
like 90-10.
right. Oh
Yeah.
yeah, he beat the shit out of Cole. I wasn't
Yeah.
expecting that at all because AEW
That
doesn't
was
do a whole lot of those
no.
matches.
No, that was
Like,
awesome. That was
yeah,
awesome.
it was
Not only did I kick his head in, I kicked his teeth out.
yeah, and
So
he's walking
great.
around parading with the tooth. Like,
So great. So great. My God. Okay, so we're almost out of time, dude.
yeah, I wish we could like do this longer.
We will. We'll do another one. We'll do another. Maybe next time we'll talk baseball.
Yeah, and
Because maybe, yeah, if we do a couple months, we'll be getting close. We'll be right in the middle of Locko, probably.
it'll be after the lockout. Yeah, because
Yeah.
there's an impending roster freeze coming
Yeah,
up
like
like
in a week.
December 2nd. They moved
Right,
up the non They
right
moved
after
up the non-tender deadline to try and help those guys out a little bit because there are also a lot of dudes would have been squeezed out.
right after the Blue Jays sign Rob Ray, then they'll go to lockout. They're not signing Rob Ray. I want them to, but they won't. But hope, and they're not going to get Marcus Semien either. But they did lock up Jose Barrios, so we got that.
Yeah, that's a good thing because we talked about this. You thought they gave up too much, and I was like, well, now they have the rights to extend him.
Yeah,
and that's something you got to take into account when you make these trades. And they turned around and they did it.
They did give up too much if they only got 2 years, but they got 7 now, and they got a discount. They got $20 million a year for his prime years, which is incredible. Yeah. All right, so that's gonna just about do it. Thanks for coming on, buddy. We will definitely do this again. Do you got anything you want to plug?
Everydaygourmets.com. Buy my balsamic and olive oil, extra virgin olive oil.
Awesome. My wife loves that stuff. I will definitely do that too. And so for Brady, I am Grampa Dez, and we will close the show as we always do as soon as my computer stops being a dick. Here we go. And
hit the music.
I'm trying, dude. Hey, wait. Here we go. All right. Cup of Joe with Grampa Dez.